Welcome to the Lost Lives Count, where we tell you victims in lives lost of your favorite horror movies, anime, TV shows, music videos, YouTube videos, and show you and tell you how they were made. I'm William Prouty. I'm William. I'm doing the Time Warp Prouty, aka Nexus. I'm doing the musical 1975, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Who created by Jim Sharman, who actually created the transition, his vision from the 1973 London stage production to the silver screen. While we actually got Richard O'Brien, who actually played Riff Raff, the creepy handyman. Jim Sharman, the screenplay by Jim Sharman and Ryan O'Brien, who actually wrote the original stage play, book, music, lyrics, and co-star as Riff Raff. Also, Lou and Michael, who actually back it up. The plot that Center Brad Majors and Janet Weiss, a squeaky clean, wholesome, newly engaged couple who actually got a flat tire. Their car got a flat tire, and it's a downpouring. Remote area seeking a telephone to get their call from their Dr. Scott, but they stumble on a Gothic castle and annual bizarre by village dress character. They're still introduced by Dr. Frank and Burr, a mad scientist and a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. The central of the plot of the pleasure. Over the course of the one night, Brad and Janet conservate the values or shatter as they go over a personal awakening, navigation, betrayal, and castle staff are actually alien mirrors execute a cue to return to their. But honestly, Jim Sharman actually did step away from Hollywood to become a founded figure after the success of the Rocky Horror. He returned to direct and co-write Shock Treatment, a spin-off and sequel to Rocky Horror, a standalone cinematic follow-up to Rocky Horror, the synthesis of obsession and reality TV and media culture. If this got more views, I will actually do a Shock Treatment next year. The stage domain, he actually did receive the Australian Theatre, and he actually did a documentary, the story of the Rocky Horror. Richard O'Brien, who actually played Riff Raff, became he actually a voice of pop culture. He actually appeared in notable films like Flash Gordon, the neo sci-fi film Dark City, Ever After. But UK of the Crystal Maze game show. And he did voice work. If you actually did not know, his voice is the voice of Lawrence Fletcher, Phineas's stepdad. He also had the honors of the Variety Artist Award. Already a music mogul of 1970, Lou Adler is momentum in the Rocky Horror to Venture. He also in the stoner comedy with Chica Chong, Up in Smoke. He really does good. And he actually produced a television series remake of the Rocky Horror brand. A television movie. Michael White produced. White actually did a doubleheader of producing the Rocky Horror Picture Show, My Pilot Fun, and the Holy Grail. And he did a Broadway star. He actually did comic strips, presents, an entire comedy, and his final projects, because he actually did pass away. He actually did White Mischief and Enigma before passing away in 2016. So, before I will ask you a question. How many did Frankenfurter lives he actually take singing this musical? Let's find out. And before the time warp, get to the numbers. The movie began with the 20th Century Fox and Lou Adler Michael Scott production, and we actually have a boy of famous lips. Honestly, these lips are actually played by Magenta or Pamela Quinn, who actually played Magenta. But let me get into the stars. She actually singing science feature double feature. Brad and Janet. I actually did not put the lyrics of science feature double feature, but there will be lyrics and the portraits of the lyrics of all the songs in the whole series. So let's begin. The first up is Tim Curry. Tim Curry is actually this is second time on the Lives Lost count. He was in Scary Movie 2 at Dr. Ullman. Man, I cannot believe Professor Ullman was on my Lives Lost count and I forgot about him. But he also in Monk and Psych, my favorite shows. He's also in the It miniseries, which I will actually do because if anybody know, the original Pennywise is actually on the screen. He also Dr. Anton Salvius Haxis in the Ferngully, the Last Rainforest. He's also the Wild Thornberries, Nigel Thornberry. He also Chancellor Palpatine in Star Wars: The Clone Wars 2012 to 2014. But also we have Suzanne Stralin who actually played Jeanette Lice. She's actually in The Hunger, which is Eastland at The Hunger as Dr. Sarah Roberts, and Witch of Eastring as Jane Sampson. She played Louisa Shaw in Velma and Louise. She became a Academy Award winner in Demon Walken. She played Jackie Harrison in The Stepmom. She in Blue Beetle in Victoria Accord. She, in my favorite series, two of them, she played Meg in Malcolm and Mill, and she also played Jessica Lockhart in the one with the Joey have a new brain. If anybody knows that, it's actually if anybody know her voice, she played Coco LeBlanc in Rugrats in Paris. And Rick and Morty as Dr. Wong. Wait. She played Dr. Wong? But I haven't covered Rick and Morty thanks to the controversy of Justin Rowling. I really need to cover Rick and Morty, do I? Also, Barry and Boswick, who actually played Brad Majors, since 2023, the night that Barry raises the hell is a segment from Tales of Halloween 2015. The devilish neighbor, Mr. Abaddon, is played by him. I mean, I didn't even know this until I actually researched this. He Dr. Anthony Oliver Gates in SVU. He Roy Brigham Anthony in Creature of the Night in Cold Case, which is he Jade the Magician in Crisis. Angel is a douchebag is Supernatural. He also played Grandpa Clyde Flynn in Face of Firm. He married Muchenberg in Incredibles 2. Meatloaf. Dedicated to my YouTube channel. In August, he's on my previous Lost Lives count. Meatloaf is Detective Sparky Shaw in Witchcraft, but he actually didn't appear in anymore. Unless I actually do Blood Ryan 2005 as Leonide, or the 2014 version of Roger McCall. But he also in Monk, Reverend Johnson at. If I actually do a ranking video, I will actually do the guest stars. But Richard Raff is. We already know who he is in everything. He Mr. Hand in Dark City. He Pierre Le Pew Ever After. He Dr. Cosmo McKinley. in shock treatment, but he actually also wrote the film. Honestly, he had the Crystal Maze as himself. He's in Lawrence. Lawrence Fletcher. Honestly, Patricia Quinn is also the Limps in the open, but she also in Magenta. She Dr. Nation McKinley. Also, if you're going to ask, she also in Lords of Salem, which as Megan, a Rob Zombie witch cover movie, which I will cover if everybody likes. And she also nurse Alice Long. And she also in the Killer Fields as Beth. Oh wait. That's actually Nell Campbell. She actually is Nurse Alice Long. And Beth in the Killer Fields. And the criminologist, he's actually in Maka in the Hammer Horror Devil Ride You Out. He and the Beast Must Die, and Arthur as Arthur Benton. He the Judge Oliver Wright in Shock Treatment. He Mycroft Holmes in the Sherlock Holmes universe. And Pin Rimward, not to brag, he just... But he actually have no... he actually can't even sing. So, the way he actually sing is actually Trevor White, Sebastian, who actually sing. Emperor's Request, the final, before permanently retiring to become an antique dealer. He actually became an antique dealer. Jonathan Adam, who actually played Dr. Elvis Scott, who actually played Adam in Jesus of Nazareth. He in Two-Eye Evil. He actually in the Edgar Allan Poe segment. And behind the script, I'm pretty sure Quinn actually sang the song originally in 1973 on the stage, where her character doubled it as a cinema. When it came time for the 1975 movie, she was incredibly disappointed to find out that Richard O'Brien was taking over as lead vocals for the track. To keep her on the board for the film, they used O'Brien recorded audio track. But strap Quinn head to a board to keep it perfectly still, so they could film her mouth lip singing along to the song. Talking about the horror movie in the song, with a bloody title card, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh, and trivia: Tim Curry, Brian O'Hare, Patricia Quinn, and Neil Campbell were four actors who originally in their roles in the tiny 1973 London stage play of the Rocky Horror Show, were successfully carried to the 1975 movie production. American studio executive demanded the lead roles of Brad and Janet to be played by American actors, which are exactly newcomers Barry Bostwick and Susan Stratton. Landed their careers definitely, and Peter Hitwork as Rocky Horror, Hitwork was originally a model and photographer and cast as Franker's ultimate physical creation. And honestly, he was actually played as Disney's Ulysses, Tim Lin, and Sebastian. And if you blow your minds on the Life's Lost Scout, here's the fact: he doesn't sing. Peter Rupert didn't have a musical background, so his singing voice was Trevor White. Every single line Rocky sang, including the entire Sword of Damocles laboratory sequence, is actually White's. After the Rocky Horror Picture Show wrap, Winward avoid the spotlight and transition into a quiet life. He became a successful antique dealer in London and spent a lot of time living in Tanger. When by People magazine, why he completely ghosted Hollywood right after starting the biggest cult hit of all time, he gave a free hilarious reasons that should sound like an outro. 1. I can't act. 2. I cringe of embarrassment every time I see myself on film. 3. I relish a quiet and peaceful life. Bonus trivia: in 1994, Hemsworth found the original gold hot pants he wore in the movie hiding in his house. He auctioned them off for $100, and they become the part of the Hard Work Cafe and a permanent rock and roll memorabilia collection. It's actually because, honestly, it's now it's actually the limbs up fades into a church. It's actually a church wedding for Betty and Ralph get married, and Brad is having the time of his life, and Betty actually throw something to see the next one to get married. So Brad is actually singing "Damn It, Janet." I got something to say. I ain't any guy who going to it slip away. I got some properties down in Ohio. If only we could talk it through. There a ring to prove it. That no heel, I've got one obsession. That the way I feel. Damn it, Janet, I love you. Oh, Brad, I am mad for you too. Oh, damn it. For the purpose, honestly, before you can corrupt the main characters, you have to how clean cut they are. This song was established Brad and Janet, ultra traditional square cookie cutter 1950 and 1960 American dynamics. Brad talks about his properties down in Ohio and proved that he no heel and represent that his rigid social norms that Frankfurt is now about to shatter. Pay close attention to the dance. They are celebrating life, love, and bright future. Inside the graveyard, you can see the billboard dented the home of happiness. Church workers are literally carrying a coffin into the background. The visual is straight up their naive straight lace lifestyle is already dead and buried. It triggered the plot on a pure narrative level. The song is catalyst for the whole movie. Jenna accepts the ring, and Brad immediately decide they need to drive out to visit a old high school science teacher, Dr. Everett Scott, to tell him the good news. If Brad never proposed it during the song, they'd never get in the car, the tire never blow, and they never step foot in Frankfurt Castle. Now we meet the criminal novelist, aka the narrator, who tells the whole story, who is played by Charles Gray, which I already mentioned. He told that on the way to visit Scott, the storm hits and they drive. They say a long time. Brad and Janet driving is a motorcycle drove by a dead end. It's a bang, and the tire blew, and to sing the sign, enter at your own risk. And the rain and the short answer is yes. Honestly, the rain is generally freezing for the short part and massive downpour. It screen created by the crew. However, the behind the scene of the wet municipal freezing production of the was a legendary. The Rocky Horror Picture Show was filmed in England between October and December of 1974. Because of the micro budget of just $1 million, the conditions on the set were notorious brutal. The interior of Dr. Frankfurt's mansion were filmed in Oakley Court at Victoria Gothic Estate in Berkshire. At the time of the filming, the building completely abandoned, decapitated, fall apart. The roof would have a massive hole in it, and mean it when it rain, it pours. It literally rained inside the set. The crew was constantly running around buckets of rainwater. To keep the actors absolute drench the storm scene, the special effect crew used a rain machine hose and honestly, they actually they can't afford to heat the water. Honestly, Barry actually later recalled that the 20 minutes the prop assistant would came over, spray him and Susan down with ice cold water to maintain the continuity, since they spent a massive portion of the movie running around in nothing but their underwear. The cast members were probably shivering. The mansion absolutely had no heating and no bathroom, and what actually happened is that they actually have a portable heater and they held it up. But the room became overheated and caught fire. The freezing damp environment cast. Susan Stratton famously developed severe pneumonia while filming the swimming pool scene, and while Untamed, shaking, shivering, and halt production, and sang her, refused to halt her production and sing her part anyway, because her tight schedule did allow her a sick days. Now they sing over Frankenstein Place. This is a exact moment where the pivot of the 1950 romance and start the Dow plane. It's a ballad that to do in the velvet darkness of the blackest night, burn bright of the guiding star, no matter what or who you are. The light of the darkness of light. There's a light over Frankenstein Place. There's a light burning in the fireplace. There's a light. See the lonely onlooker gaze the light. My. Should honestly, what actually begin? The light is actually a beacon of safety, but it will soon not become not a beacon of safety. The two main characters are walking right into a trap. The warning sign is actually inherited while they do a clean-cut duet while Red Rap chime in with a creepy, eerie vocals that alert viewers that it's a bizarre. And transition to a old dark house in front. Now Eddie the delivery guy just zoom out and Red Rap sing in the castle, and the criminal knows narrator, and they ring the doorbell, and Riff Raff and Brad They soak. And Riff Raff say his special night and his sister. Honestly, it's time for the next song. This song is actually one of my favorites. And it's actually have a good dance number. It's astounding. Time is free. Madness take the toll. But listen closely, not the longer. And keep it under control. I remember doing the time. Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. It's just a jump to the left. And a step to the right. Put your hands on the hips. And let's do a tie, a pebble plus, drive you insane. This is a moment where the Rocky stop pretending it's a regular movie. It's a graphic, spooky color, a bizarre glam lock, old strip it away. And honestly, the Transylvanians in party hats and public thrust that fade appear. What I mean is conservation defenseless. On the world level, this song acts as a grand entrance to the castle chorus, staff, and guests. And Riff Raff, Magenta, and Columbia is the before the masters step in, and Frankfurt do, and the heavy hitter, the time warp is the catchiest dance number, is actually lethal. It's one of my favorite songs, and alongside Creature of the Night, it's actually a dance. Oh, and Columbia, played by Lil Nell, is a tap dance. Lil Nell did a routine of the tap dancer. And a tap solo. Lil Nell started taking ballet at modern dance class around age 10 in Australia, originally on her doctor's advice to help her recover from a bout of hepatitis A. But by the time she's 16 or 17, she added a formal tap dancing lesson to her schedule. When she moved to London at age 18, she used her skills to make money by brewskiing, street performing on the street by singing 1930s songs and tap dancing. Eventually, she got a job as a soda jerk at the cafe in Kingston. Her routine at the work is called the Queer Eye. To beat the work, Nell would wear 1930s clothes, satin shorts, shoes, and clock. One day, the Rocky Horror Picture Show director Jim Sharman and Richard O'Brien rocket to a cafe, and Nell literally tap dance her way over the table and serve them their order. O'Brien and Sharman were charmed by her table tapping that they cast her as Columbia by on the spot. O'Brien then suspiciously wrote her tap dancing breakdown into the time warp sequence just to showcase what she can already do. When you see Columbia tap dancing in the film, you aren't watching an actress execute choreography. She just learned for a role. You're watching Nail doing exact style of street brusking and tabletop tapping that she got discovered in the first place. They power down and Janice say something, and now it's actually time to go. And Janet, who and the next sound talk about the sweet trumpet. Honestly, talk about the antagonist of Dr. Frankfurt and blending high school grammar with dark predatory. It transitioned to the time warp into a slow, heavy jazz strut, rocket strut that Transylvania frees party. Tim Curry originally tried different accents for a stage version. During a German accent, a thick American German accent, he ultimately based Frank voice on a Polish upper class British aristocrat sneer. After hearing an elegant woman speak on London bus, it give the character an incredible high status, cold and calculated menace wrap in a package. For the song is a trap strut shut on Brad and Janet. Frank strip the way of the castle horror of he not cloaking Dracula or Hunchback madness. He brilliant and hilarious and disarmed them by making them feel like an outsider. The song doesn't have a body count. It established the lack of boundaries and supreme confidence of the butcher of a few scenes. Don't get strung out. I don't judge a cover. I'm not much like I'm. The song actually talking about the manipulation in the verse. Say don't judge by a cover. How do you met my favorite handyman? He little on his luck. It a look in his eye or a hump on his back. Point to riffraff that gold mine for a life's lost count. Call him appearance or a hump that at the grand reveal. I'm a sweet transvestite for transsexual Transylvania. This is a ultimate thesis statement line. He deliver needs to be highlighted in your video because of the brilliant Curry takes before Transylvania. He delivered the parasite a gothic horror atmosphere, replacing it with an entire sci-fi camp grammar. So up to my lab, down the slab, and pathology that abysmal. We could take the old Steve review. The transition down the slab, the muscle-bound actor Steve Reeve is a direct narrator of the Bridge of a Man sci-fi plot. He telling Brad and Janet exactly what he building besides custom perfect. Let's that Frank just singing in intro track. He laid down the flaws. This is Tim Curry. Honestly, this is actually the second time. This is actually Tim's, Barry's, and Meatloaf's second time on the kill count. On the lives lost count. Tim Curry was actually Professor Oldman in Scary Movie. Brad was Mr. Abaddon in Tales of Halloween. And Meatloaf is actually Detective Sparky in Witchcraft. If I actually do Blood Ryan, or I will actually honor this late musical legend. Honestly, this is actually my first musical. No, but also Tim Curry also played Pennywise in the 1990 TV movie, and Nigel Thornberry from the Thornberrys. But we actually went to his. Now they went to his lab and see him in a lab coat and statues, and dudes too. And we actually see a man in a cage, and Rocky and his song, "The Sword of Damocles." The number take place in Frankfurt, led by Janet, the Transylvania that creation as the band strip away in the tempo key and the dread. The sword of Damocles hang over my head and feeling the thread, woe of the downer. And the crucial of the movie, while is shorter as the number. The Sword of Damocles is a title of the Greek of the name Damocles, a king of pure legacy. The king allowed him to sit on a throne suspended by swords. Above his head is a single strand of horsehair, symbolize the fortune of the foreshadowing. Rocky built a pinnacle of perfection with blonde hair and tan, purely to serve Frank and his desires. And second, he was born into this paradise, the tragedy of his own expression of the end. Eddie Brain. For the deep dive, the song is ultimately the clue of Rocky physiology. Frank built Rocky by using half of Eddie's meatloaf brain because Eddie was violently murdered right after this scene. Before this scene. And was named Dread. The unnamed Dread. At the final moments. Are a symbol of the inside of head and obsession. It acts like the Frank's obsession and even terror of darkness. The actor to play Rocky is his only horror role, but his gold pants sold $1,000. Also, he had like a newborn in Columbia and Frank. Honestly, Also, the next song is Frank's I Can Be the Man. I Can Make You a Man. Charles Atlas. It's an old school rock and roll song that is hijack the room and full visage. A weakling of 99 pounds will not stand on ground. Jim chin-ups pores glisten the six-pack of in 7 days I make a man out of you. In the Lives Lost count, the songs serve the entire lyrics famously of the comic book series Atlas Touch of Fitness. Kicking a stand of the by the train of the little birth. Frank gently lens. This track exposes exactly Frank views living to him. Humanity is it about the conscious soul or aesthetic? He viewed Rocky purely as clay to a sculpture, oil up, and he not acted like a father figure to his creation. He acted like a pure manufacturer. Honestly, he gaslights. Rocky was screaming and appeared during the sword democracy. Instead of comfort him, Frank used this fast, overwhelming showstopper to completely gaslight him and distract him for the convincing creature that his values solely the muscle. This honestly said the clash. This builds Frank hubris and absolute he peaks. He is parading his perfection created around the lab. Completely, he has won over life and death and extremely high, and the entrance of Eddie in the impact. It's not a Disney song. This song is talk about Rocky. He just mayhem. And the freezer door just drop open, and Eddie. Honestly, Eddie, who I enjoyed played by Meatloaf, last seen on the Lives Lost count as Detective Sparky Shaw for witchcraft. Also, Brad was last seen on the Lives Lost count at Mr. Abaddon in Tales of Halloween 2015. And Tim Curry was actually seen last time on the kill count in Scary Movie 2 as Professor Oldman. Honestly, 3 times I saw Tales of Halloween, and I never knew Mr. Abaddon was I can actually tell it was Tim Curry by his voice, and also I actually and Meatloaf. Eddie doing Hot Patooey, bless my soul. It's not a crowd pleaser, but there's that moment when claim a casualty. Honestly, Eddie clashed with a motorcycle out of the freezer, and hear the song go. Whatever happened to Saturday night, that when you dress up and look sharp, y'all feel alright night. It all change y'all season to season. You're outer space. Your inner reason. Hot Patooey, bless your soul. I really had the reason rock and roll. Hot Patooey, bless your soul. I really love rock and roll. Why Hot Patooey is crucial to the story? I think it heard from Osprey, Sharman host, but gave it the rock out. He dangerous and volatile threat. Up until his safety strength, nobody been hurt. When Eddie get too popular, Frank just snapped and got a freaking pickaxe and brutally attack him. It's where the horror receive. I actually will mention it later. I will actually mention it later on. This scene tracks a war between 2 subcultures. Eddie represented the 1950s greaser, leather jacket, American rock and roll, and Frankenfurter represent the 1970 glam rock revolution and dance theater and ambition. Frank doesn't kill Eddie for being true. He killed him, Eddie, for old school style and steal the spotlight from Ed. Eddie, before Rocky, Eddie was Frank original attempt to create a partner, but Frank grew bored him because he was only half a man. Represent the scar on Eddie's head where Frank stole his brain and gave it to Rocky. Eddie return is a reminder of Frank's past and of Golden. And honestly, the constant tension of the Transylvania starting the fight and Frank violent outburst isn't just jealousy, it's desperate moon to total claim of the castle. Frank interrupted by Eddie all dance, but the Frank is not happy. And he just took it out on him with an ice pick, but we don't see the body. so I can't count him yet. But he said it was a mercy, and he said, I make a man out of you in 7 days. And Frank make pro flowers and criminal just aka narrator say that they're going to separate Brad and Janet into separate rooms. While Rip Rap and Magenta both watch them, us and also Rip Rap like Frankenstein monster, Rocky hates fire. And they also dance, and Janet well, Brad honestly, Janet thought Brad got into his room. It was Frankenfurter. And Frankenfurter just made her feel differently. And they both laugh. Then it's Brad's turn. After Riff Raff and Magenta made Rocky just leave by fire, and they dance and kiss. And Brad see Janet and took her, and was Frankenfurter who pretended to be Janet. And it turned out it just turned Brad on, and Riff Raff Rocky broke out, and Janet cries, and Rocky just got chased by dogs. Honestly, this is actually what happened. At Stormy Night, Peter Hitwood actually got chased by dogs. After the Frank seduced both Brad and Janet, but honestly, growing tension that triggers an alert that do. But behind the scene, the movie cut to the dramatic, slick, and we see Peter Hood through the mystery mood, a golden metallic speedo that if a pack of joyride shepherds that do, and and here but back, because this scene involved Rocky frantically running with dogs, Rocky Horror cast yell out the dog food commercial during the scene, like Kill Bits or Run Rocky Run, to break up the tension. This chaotic bridge of the half movie, while from the dogs managed to break the safety of the castle laboratory, and while Frank is wandering the halls looking for Brad, that the walker injured. She walked into the lab and injured Rocky, and she blamed herself, and the next song, and Rocky okay. The next song is called Creature of the Night, and Creature of the Night is actually a song from Cold Case. A Cold Case episode where Barry actually play a old convent. But this was actually named Creature of the Night, but it's actually named Touch Me, Touch Me in the record. Honestly, it's actually, the song play out like a rock and roll plea. I feel I was alone, done in, couldn't win. I only ever kiss a man and a baby. When I confess a rowdy petting, tension my chest. Touch me. I wanna be dirty. Thrill me, chill me, fulfill me, creature of the night. Okay, here's the... Honestly, what actually happened is her pastel dress and her resilience on Brad. Ever since she only kissed a man, she actually... Her song she actually sing is Society Expectation. When she sing I Want to Be Dirty, she chooses to abandon the rigid moral deity to embrace the inhibition and castle freedom. The sequence also a core relationship just prior to Frankenfurter trick seduce them by having Janet immediately seek out Rocky for her pleasure. The narrative level, the playing field, Brad and her are no longer unified of innocent. They are keeping massive identities secret from one another. The staging of the song is a black picture comedy. Janet and Rocky are in the tank. Magenta and Columbia are watching the entire thing on a closed-circuit television from the bedroom, cheering and reinforcing the private, and Brad and Janet completely at their mercy game. There is a great dramatic irony in Janet choosing Rocky as a catalyst as her awaken. Frank built Rocky to be his own personal perfect project. By seducing Rocky, Janet subconsciously strikes back at the master of the house, setting off a wave of jealousy and paranoia that drive Frank deeper into madness and final acts. It's called Creature of the Night. Also, after a cold case episode, called this, It's a Fever Dream, with Frank hit the riffraff for Let Rocky Go and Dr. Scott, and he was dragged here from the Zen room to where they are at with the magnet and crash. And Frank now have Scott, but Scott actually not there for Brad or Janet. He's here to see his nephew Eddie. Now they're having turkey and wine. Now Magenta called dinner after they found Brad, Janet, and Rocky in the tank. The criminologists say food is their comfort food, and they actually now get ready for turkey and wine. Rocky had no table manners, but Frank sang happy birthday to Rocky, and they eat. Honestly, he wanted to discuss Eddie, and Columbia left for a room, and Dr. Scott moved secretly for his musical number that's set in the film Eddie's Teddy. Also, Liz as Eddie. Attention. From the day he was born, he was trouble. He was the thorn in his mother's side. She said Eddie don't sacrifice, but he no good loafer. He has nice the day she died. Everybody shove him. I very nearly love him. I said, hey, listen to me, stay insane, sanity. But he locked the door and threw away the key. Okay, what actually happened? In pitch black comedy, Dr. Scott and Columbia are singing both of what actually happened in a it was a roast in the freaking stage play, but it was actually chicken. But it built up to the jump scare that Frank actually pulled away from the tablecloth. But Dr. Scott actually changed the game with investigation to UFOs that Frank is paranoid and hostility. At Columbia breaking point of revealing that she actually stays sane, and Frank split his brain and detachment and build a Rocky. Split his brain and build Rocky, and cement and set up his furious confrontation against him in the chaotic climax of the song. Okay, here both. The stage play, they were eating human meat. In the original, they were just eating chicken. Well, to further add, Eddie was killed in the pickaxe of 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 45 seconds. We didn't see the body until he pulled the sheets. Behind the scenes, Jim Sharman and Tim Curry, they really kept it a secret. Except for Tim Curry, who pulled the cough. Brian O'Hare, who wrote the screenplay, none of the actors knew about the mango body dummy dummy meatloaf of their was underneath. When Frankfurt pulled away and discussed of Susan Estrada, Barry Boswick, and Jonathan Adams, it was 100% genuine and first thing. Tim Curry had to nail the table in a single take. Production was running notorious tight on budget and botch. They broke dishes or spilled wine incorrectly. The crew didn't have time to... Exactly the reason Rocky Horror Picture was initially banned in Germany. Upon releasing, especially censored for a detection of cannibalism. Oh! Let me answer it. No, it was actually banned from South Africa and Chile for sexual content endorsed gender nonconformity. Well, honestly, yeah, it was actually banned in Chile and South Africa for non-gender, not in Germany. But it was actually... The dinner party was actually based on Alfred Hitchcock's The Ropes. Two young men who actually murders a classmate. The twist of a clever dinner party that follow a murder victim, invite the victim's family and friends, and macabre joke that a wood chest contained the corpse. It actually mimics the serving the body. It did mimic this. It mimics Alien, where we actually did not... None of the stars know about the freaking... None of the stars knew about the corpse until the last minute. Now, it's time for Frank's other song, Planet Schmammet, Janet, or popularly known as Wise Up Janet Wise. Tell you once, don't make me tell you twice. You better wise up, Janet Wise. Your apple pie, it don't taste too nice. You better wise up, Janet Wise. The deducer will seduce ya. It's something you get used to. The mental mindfuck be nice. Smam it, planet. You better wise up, just why. Stop. Don't get hot if must fluster. Get a bit fluster. You got hot dog. You better not hurt her. Oh yeah, Brad or Dr. Scott sing it. Frankfurt. This song is a harmless party that the Violet Captor is losing control of Rocky and and Janet push him over the edge. And the 1950s, when Frank said, "Oh, honestly, it's actually stopped the gracious host from losing control and push him over the edge." The apple pie don't taste very nice. It's a symbol of wholesome traditional American culture. Telling Janet that her old life, her innocent, her good girl, is completely dead. The alien track that the Medusa traducer that one by one Columbia, Rocky, actually Brad, Columbia, Brad, Dr. Scott, Janet, and Rocky got turned to statues. And honestly, this is the creation of the break-in. No, free and the Medusa that turned Rocky loved her as she turned to stone and colossal. And the traducer is special. And the moccasin and the bodies. Eerie of the puzzle cast. The actors were to be completely shaved were necessary. Shattered by Vaseline and lubricant that completely skin to their hair. They were completely naked and perfectly still periods of the pastor that create a whole crew out of hollow. Lightweight statues that play in marble. Honestly, Nail and Barry both actually Nail actually, mind you, wait a minute. We were naked for the most of the plaster molds. Or so, yeah, dead and still. You stay still long enough to solidify. I remember it was still warm plaster. Go on. I remember the shatter. You remember the plaster. Very actually say. Once the statue were cast, they use a wide shot a transformation sequence. Later, Frankfurt dress the Frozen for them in fish corset, fishnet, feather blower, and swap them with the real counterparts and and the criminal foreseeing the morals and the imagination, each of the escape course. It great to all begin. It fan of shape heady man. It blew my mind out until nothing shell of the soul. The power of the fascinate make me supersonic and the construct of my. It was a gas that carried head to toe, a split of hair, and then now I hot flower. I'm a wild ass guy. I release bad time disease. My confidence was increased. Reality is BC. Oh, touch me. I wanna be dirty. Rose tint, my world. Keep on my safe. Actually, there wasn't no. It was just. Honestly, there was no song of them together. The truth? It perfectly captures how they were feeling. Columbia is happy that she frozen and do, and Rocky is strut his struts, but Brad is actually turned on now, and they actually got corrupted by Frankfurt, and Janet become reborn. And Frankfurt in a mission not to make all and but where is Riffraff and Majesha? While I said Rocky said he sings he's 7 hours old, and Brabby sexy and Jenna reborn, Franca is actually singing his song in a brilliant track. But Frankfurt sang his wild tank banks. But fun fact, Janice, the voice of Janice developed pneumonia ammonia from the water. Wild things that thank you, Janice, from yummy. Honestly, they actually get these from the record, but from the movie, it's actually different. The musical number is actually Rocky is Separate Fear and Single. And the crucial song of the was book and mind of the do. And Dr. Scott was profound and bubbly and come out blasted the door was magenta. After the playing God of the hubris of the radio tower of the golden age of the production. It was actually the dead of winter at Briarfield. Susan got pneumonia and sick and refused to take sick days because she can't actually do. The $1 million shot that transition is actually director Zero breaks up and now while the dancing and swimming, Riff Raff step out in the shadows and cue and right as the wild is time for their decoration. Frankfurt, it's all over. Your mission is a failure. Your lifestyle is too extreme. I'm your new commander. You're now our prisoner. Are my prisoner. We return to Transylvania. Prepare the transit beam. Honestly, to tell you the truth, if you Riff Raff strip away all the Camp Feeder and the instructional aliens, and he actually was heavily abused, mocked, degraded, and a faithful handyman. But when Frank kicked him, pull his hair, and treat him like garbage, his ultimate act of revenge is honestly, Riff Raff flipped the script and was it create a muscle man or a host of a pansexual? He actually was part of an extraordinary group of a galaxy of Transylvania. Frank completely banned his cosmic duties for his own ego, with earthly pleasures. Riff Raff is acting as a cold bureaucrat, hand of the home plate, coming to shut down and unhinged rogue agent. But honestly, with the state of Ramrock era, the universe is full of transvestite aliens. Frank managed to find absolute limit what was acceptable. What I can explain. It's a heartbreak. I'm going home. It turned Riff Raff, a creepy background character, into a executioner of the final countdown of the catastrophe. Honestly spoken, Frank is actually a vulnerability vulnerability of the Heartbreaker Swan song. I'm Going Home is a campy rock and roll. It's One Day I Went Away. Goodbye was all I smile of a blue sky that outside rain and a sorrowful call. Honestly, he asked for forgiveness for riffraff and chanted executed at the same time of the chanted the same way he chanted Earthlings. Frank used the lyrics to as a himself, not as a failed, corrupted commander, as a deeply wounded, lonely wanderer, by singing a life of feeling like I'm outside the rain. He trying to get Rip Rap and Magenta to understand of the isolation, reframing his sins. He incredibly chaotic pursuit of absolute pleasure and gambling, and losing gambling. But the illusion of the audience is so, but it completely fails because, well, Riff Rap is cold and the song ends with him project that miss delivery and final goodbye of the reason of the jury of the final report of the and I'm Going Home is audience of the illusion shatter of the behind the scenes, the fourth wall break. Jim said put a little audience inside the movie as a theatrical route. The Rocky Horror Picture Show successfully imitated of the Rocky Horror Show by framing the climax of the Red Velvet of the Doom. Hey, I'm going home, but Magenta say how sentimental, but Rip Rap say we met us, him and Magenta going home, not him. So he used the antimatter ring. So Dr. Scott does say go back to social norms. But to tell you the truth, after get startled by Columbia at 1 hour 30 minutes and 12 seconds, the antimatter ray shot Columbia. Rip Rap come visibly unhinged. His hand are shaken in his mouth, and he actually the death was so lame. It's actually climatic, and the timing was actually her death was actually alter her original death to better like the exit of the Rocky Horror Show. The original Columbia death was a natural choice. A sacrifice as she threw herself to Frank to protect him from a riffraff. Aim. The dying punch of Frank arms, he looked down dramatically and asked, "You did this for me?" Columbia nods. Frank responds with cold pain. "You stupid bitch." Causally drop her into the floor. When the film was filming, blocking the change of the drop without her jumping to save Frank, the tragic comic sacrifice of the bystander. Dr. Scott gas heavens that laser, and the laser is the pure antimatter. Proton that no mass of the. Honestly, antimatter is just through a room with ordinary air, nitrogen, and oxygen. With solid time load, annihilate cause explosion. The prop is a 3-prong ray gun designed by Brian Thompson, who actually built the prop department on a shoestring budget. Instead of a high-tech material, it's a cheap household product item. It's actually it's a modified plastic toy gun with a curved plumb plastic tube with a bent needle and a heat ray of the and honestly the metallic coke and silver give it a futuristic 1950 comic book aesthetic. Now Frankenfurter climb up to 130 and dies by falling down to his death at 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 33 seconds. Honestly, by climbing up to the curtain and falling, it resembles King Kong. And the Apple it's a meta joke that the 1930s and the antimatter ray is actually Michelangelo Adam poor floor that actually behind the stunt the multi-tier clever Tim Curry didn't actually climb the curtain. He directly over the edge of the studio custom pool. And the freezing float, Tim Curry suppressed shivering, and the masterpiece of Frank in a beautiful, heartbreaking final of the mute golden and the sub-style that the creation dies attempted to preserve creation rapid Frankenstein subtext. Now Rocky is upset because of his creator, and he dies not once, not twice, by carrying Frankfurter with a freaking antimatter 5 times at 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 50 seconds. Honestly, Peter actually did climb up the radio tower, resemble King Kong, 1933, and the death, he actually landed in the pool, and it resembled a baptism to burial, and crashed it down. And the final, and the creature pool for that Frank God complex. Pulling the multi. Honestly, Peter had Hoy's Tim Curry multiple steps. Has a fully grown man. And actors were wet and massive, but what actually happened is Riff Raff never say, Dr. Scott, what actually happened to Peter? He actually severe violent hyper shivers. Rick Rapp actually said they never liked me, and both Rocky, Columbia, and but Dr. Scott said you did the right thing, and Rick Rapp says sorry about the nephew, and they actually have to leave because they're taking the play back to planet transsexual in a galaxy, in their home galaxy of Transylvania. Their mission complete, and they go home to transsexual Transylvania, but they actually can see it now. But they actually do superhero. I done a lot that God knows I try. The truth lied. All about the found where superhero and crawling the face of the planet. Some insect face of the. Honestly, both of the isolation of the dentin and the rapid. The depth is it. When Janice cries superhero crying of their clean cut heroes of their own story, there aren't realize there are heroes that deeply compromised and lost their innocence. But honestly, the criminologists interrupt in film, and the lost in time and Frank. As the movie ends, the reprise version of the science fiction double feature is rolling, and the reprise of science fiction double feature, and we actually can hear the time warp. How many lives lost did Frank get to? Let's find out, and I remember counting the numbers, counted the moments when the counting hit me. The void would call me. Let's go to the numbers again. Four people die in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. 2 males, 1 female, and 1 trans alien. We're at a runtime of 100 minutes. We got lives lost every hour at 0.04 minutes. One death, one per death. With the great acts of execution goes to Eddie. Honestly, it's the best death of practical effects. Structural value. Dear Eddie Teddy song. The actual death happened quickly off screen. In a deep freeze, Eddie take the crown of the legendary practical effects payoff. The infamous dinner scene. When Frankfurt dramatically revealed the tablecloth of Eddie's mutilated corpse, inside was Eddie, Jim Sharman actually pulled off the alien chain bursting trick. He deliberately hid a fake corpse from the cast and didn't tell them it was under the table. Only Tim Curry, Richard O'Brien, and Meatloaf knew. When the tablecloth came off, the absolute terror and disgust of the actors were 100% reaction, combined with gruesome revelation. The characters were actually eating the remains. Actually, they were eating chicken, but some of the meat I think they were eating Eddie's remains, but I don't think so. The easiest here, the great acts of execution. The Whippy axe goes to Columbia. The most absurd and weakest payoff. Poor Columbia complete get off the short end of the stick of the sci-fi showdown in the theater. While Rip Rap is hyper-venerated shaking the anti-battery ray gun, Columbia scream and startle him and get blast with the visual effects of the 1970s. Optic sparkles overlay on her chest before she slumped she actually fell over the floor. Why is the Whippy Axe? Unlike the stage play, where she dramatically jumped in front of the blast to save Frank, her death was sudden, accidental, and completely lacks major practical gore or stunt work. She was just pushed aside by narrative so Riff can get to the main event, making her death a total blank you miss moment. That is so that's it. Created in 1957, it became a cultural hit with and this is my first Pride video. The next Pride, it will be Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker, or Night Warning.